These are many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. Remember, we are live on DSTV channel 279. On to our very first story. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, will be creating access roads to convey displaced persons as many residents in communities hit by Akosombo Dam spillage remain cut off from essential services. More than a week after the devastating effect of the spillage became a subject of national attention, many continue to struggle to even access the very basic necessities of life. My colleague Judith Brown was at Jamapaya to take a look at the situation there.
It's a sorrowful scene in Germany, located in the South Dai constituency of the Volta region. A huge portion of the community, with over 24,000 residents, is submerged in water. Residents have lost property in the flood, with homes and businesses submerged.
This is just one amongst many shops that have been submerged in water here in the Germany community. Now, many have lost their livelihoods, their businesses. This is their only means of survival. This woman is amongst them, and she has lost all her goods in the flood, and so she's unable to take care of her family, including 4 children.
Florence is a mother of 4 whose husband is deceased. She tried to open up a business to fend for her family without much support. But now, the same business she fought to maintain is destroyed.
These are among the few things that Florence was able to save from her shop. And if this, according to her, is few, then imagine the amount of goods lost in the floods. Even this place, according to her, was given to her by one of her friends to store the rest of her goods in the meantime.
I took a loan to start my business before the floods, but I've lost almost everything.
She's now jobless and has no means of survival.
The water take my goods all away, and all the goods are spoiled, and the money too all gone. I lose a lot of money. I'm not doing any work. I just pack the goods, the small one I took at the house. I don't get any place to start. I have children, 4 children, so it's difficult for me to look after them.
Indeed, many in this community are suffering the same ordeal, if not worse. Sadly, no one has come to their aid since the floods began.
No one has come yet. I may say NADMO came here, directors came here twice from the district without any help. So we didn't have any help from them. In actual fact, all attention has been sent to North Tongu and South Tongu.
The community is in need of urgent help. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Germany, Volta region.
A very sad one if you ask me. That's why Media General has created a 3 foundation fund to support persons like her and many others. So just support with a little that you can. Let's still stay on the spillage because the Ghana Armed Forces says it has varied its rescue effort to suit the evolving situation after it maintains that men have not withdrawn from the affected areas. North Tonga MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has alleged the army had been directed to withdraw its services, but in a statement, the military clarified that the move is geared at equally assisting distressed communities. The statement asks that the military has so far rescued 12,000 persons and will not relent in its quest to assist all those affected. And our former Environment Minister, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, maintains he provided sufficient evidence to police investigators to enable prosecution of individuals he had alleged were frustrating the fight against illegal mining. Attorney General Godfrey Yabu-Adame had earlier this month described a report authored by Professor Boateng as mere conjecture and lacking any evidence. Take a listen.
Boateng in his 2021 report to the Chief of Staff alleged some key government appointees and top NPP members had been frustrating the fight against illegal mining. The report leaked this year, sparking calls for relevant state agencies to investigate the matter. The police Office of Special Prosecutor and Shraj have since commenced investigations into various aspects of the allegations. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame, in an opinion on the plea's docket, described the professor's work as mere conjecture and lacking evidence. He also alleged Prof. Boateng had failed to cooperate with police investigators, a claim the former Environment Minister disagrees with.
What does it mean by hard evidence? I mean, somebody who has written a report, what evidence do you expect from me, apart from words, documents, videos, and things, pictures? I'm not an investigating agent. That's not my job. I was a chairman of a committee, and I wrote a report. So you have to go around and see whether what I'm saying is not true.
The former minister believes the Attorney General did a poor job if his conclusion is that his report does not offer much.
If the AG decides not to see anything or doesn't see anything, I cannot say anything. It's up to him. That's how he interprets information.
On the state of governing New Patriotic Party, he insists it no longer aligns with its ideals and that unseen hands have taken over affairs of the party and by extension government.
I believe that the actions of people who have no appointments in government and who have no party positions, but who appear to wield power, that is one thing that is disturbing us, because they have access to the seat of government, and it's rumored that if you need an appointment, you need a job, or you need something, you need to be in your good books, that kind of thing. This is one area that disturbs me.
He's also unhappy about what he says is the push of powerful members of the party to have the vice president lead into 2024 polls.
I mean, yes, he seems to be a favorite of people who seem to matter in the party and so on. But I still say that if we are strong, then we leave him and to compete on a level playing field. But then if party people, government appointees, are more or less whipped in line to toe that line, it shows that he's weak and he needs, that kind of support.
For those who may be wondering why the former minister has in recent times been quite critical of government and what the motivation could be, well, this is what he had to say.
The president said we should be citizens and not spectators. So I'm offering my views to make the party stronger and Ghana a better place.
Would you consider yourself a traitor of the NPP?
Oh, not at all. I'm a patriot. That's what I would say. The word traitor is too far away from, should be far away from my dwelling place.
Let's know what you make of stories that have been aired so far, particularly the aftermath of the dam spillage. Just go into our social media platform, particularly Facebook, because we are live. Engage us with your comment and observations. And our cabinet has resolved that despite 2024 being an election year, its focus will be to consolidate stability, further bring inflation down and cedi depreciation arrested, as against the traditional view of overspending. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah briefing the media on the outcome of Cabinet's retreat at Petriasi explained that this is the best legacy for the Ghanaian economy. Cabinet has been meeting in the last 4 days at a retreat at Petriasi, and the major item being considered was the economy, to first of all examine the implementation of the post-crisis program for economic growth, PCPEC, to determine whether or not it was bearing the fruits that they were looking for. And secondly, to see if there are any consequential decisions to be taken.
Cabinet is pleased with the implementation and the results, and Cabinet has taken some further economic measures aimed at entrenching them so that the remainder of this year and next year brings about a lot more consolidation and growth.
According to the Information Minister, Kojo Nkrumah, Cabinet is also looking at some structural reforms in the medium term.
So 2024 Cabinet decided will be a year of deepened stability and growth, not necessarily a year of expansion or fiscal expansion policy.
He touched on what to expect in the 2024 budget.
The most important thing you will see in the 2024 budget is the effort towards further fiscal consolidation. Remember that we used to have a big gap between our revenues and our expenditures. You could tell it particularly from our primary balance. 2 years ago, our primary balance was around negative 4.5%. This year, we're bringing it down to about negative 0.5%. And in 2024, the target is to move it to a positive primary balance.
Although 2024 is an election year, government is not looking at overspending.
Cabinet is of the view that the best legacy for the Ghanaian economy is ensuring that the stability is entrenched, inflation is brought further down, depreciation of the currency is further arrested. And so that is the focus that Cabinet has approved for the 2024 fiscal year.
As part of measures to improve Ghana's fiscals, the President on Tuesday, October 24, will be meeting heads of state-owned enterprises to engage on how to ensure that occasional losses and debts are averted. Later in the week, the Vice President will also cast sort for 500 projects across 48 districts in the country under the Social Cohesion Project led by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Just so you know, government is hoping to beat down inflation to the mid-20s at the end of the year and also 15% by 2024. You're still watching the Morning News here on New Day with me, Josh Quinn. In Morning News this morning, the government has been advised to adopt a green and solar off-grid system for providing electricity to rural communities in the country. This, according to energy experts, is not only cheaper, but will also help reduce carbon emissions and minimize the impact of climate change.
Most rural communities in Ghana continue to live in darkness in spite of promises to provide them with electricity. Bedabo in the Achumanwebedia municipality of Ashanti region is one of such communities. The absence of electricity in this area, according to community leaders, has led to mass exodus of the youth to urban centers. The absence of electricity has delayed development of this community. We have to travel 20 kilometers to Mpesetia to even charge our phones. This has forced majority of the youth to migrate to where they can have access to electricity. Economic activities and effective teaching and learning have also been impacted. To bring development to the community and ensure Ghana go through the energy transition effectively, the Akentina Piamenka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneur Development has partnered with Smart Energy Solutions for Africa to provide Bedabo with solar off-grid system.
If we want to help the rural electrification project, the best way to go is to go green and to go solar off-grid system. It reduces the carbon emission and it helps government of Ghana to achieve a target of a 10% contribution for green sources by 2030.
As part of the project, some selected senior high schools have been provided with biofuel cook stoves to reduce carbon emissions.
Clean cooking, of course, I mean, it's not that the problem, it's not the only problem of Ghana, it's actually the problem of most of the African countries, and generally it provokes health issues to women and children.
The interventions are geared towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which calls for urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Goal 13 is intrinsically linked to all 16 of the other goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
Tension is mounting along the Ghana-Burkina Faso border in the Boku municipality and Pusiga district following suspected abduction of some 14 Ghanaians in Burkina Faso. The missing persons are among the herdsmen who went to the border with their cattle on October 11.
The incident happened in the first week of October when 4 persons crossed the border to Burkina Faso to trade but never returned. Efforts by relatives to trace their whereabouts yielded no result. Then, on October 11, 2 Fulani herdsmen from Tampizwa in the Boko municipality led their animals to the border with Burkina to graze. The incident prompted a response from the Tampizwa community to dispatch a 7-member team to Burkina Faso in search of both the 2 herdsmen and their cattle. But the search team also failed to return.
We just want to know the whereabouts of our people. We don't take them without any information. Our officials are not informed. Nobody is informed. We don't know their whereabouts. What is their crime? They should come out and tell us. So we are pleading with the government. They should take this matter up so that we will know the whereabouts of our people. The community, almost everybody in this community is in a very serious pain. We don't know what is happening. We are all sad.
The residents, and especially the youth and the immediate families of the missing persons, are calling on the government to make immediate steps to find and bring back their relatives.
Because you know quiet, they have just gotten out. I'm going to ask for my kettle and never came back. So she's also asking, this country, do we have leaders? 10 days now, nobody has said anything. We, the youth of Magmari, Bado, Tempiza, Gulokutare, Kuluburu, we want to let the government know that if nothing is done about it for 4 days, we will take the action. Because it is painful.
The municipal chief executive for Boko, Amadou Hamza, confirmed the incident in a telephone conversation with TV3. He, however, declined further details since the case is being handled at the government level.
In more news this morning, chiefs and property owners at Weja in the Greater Accra region have threatened to sue the Ghana Water Company if it goes ahead to demolish more than 3,000 of their buildings. They argue that the utility company has no legal right to claim ownership of land granted to them by the Kufuor administration.
The government acquired 13,000 acres of land in Weja for the Ghana Water Company, following the construction of the Weja Dam for potable water supply in Accra. Although pillars are present, the land has been rapidly encroached. A clan head of Weja, Ni Atram, claimed that former President Kufuor ceded part of the 13,000-acre land to the chiefs, allowing traditional authorities to sell the land for private development. He invited me to his residence and showed me documents detailing the topography layout of the area.
Every land have a document. I'm sure what I know and what I have, this is not the first time. The Assembly and Waterway, we took them to the court before. We don't have the land. Waterways, they don't have any land at Weja. So we should go to the courts.
Management of the Ghana Water Company has earmarked structures to be demolished, potentially displacing over 20,000 residents if the utility managers go ahead with the exercise. Head of Corporate Communications at Ghana Water Company, Stanley Mate, speaking at 3FM's Community Connect engagement at Tetegu, explained why the demolition of all unauthorized structures must take place.
The District Assembly must answer why they will issue a building permit for an unauthorized area. One question. You wouldn't blame Ghana Water Company for that one. There are structures springing up in the waterway into the sea. So please, demolish these structures before they turn into homes.
The Densu River buffer in Weja has been encroached and traditional water courses have been filled and developed, making the area susceptible to flooding. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Weja, Accra.
And now let's do some international news. Israel's military has vowed to intensify airstrikes on Gaza and has warned Palestinians still in the north of the territory to flee south. A military spokesman said this would allow Israel to minimize the risk to our forces in the next stages of the war. Meanwhile, Hamas says 55 people were killed in their air raids on Gaza overnight. Separately, the Israeli military says it struck a Hamas cell sheltering in a mosque in the occupied West Bank. Israel has amassed tanks and troops on the boundary with Gaza ahead of an unexpected group invasion, though the potential timing of this remains unclear.